Among the most divisive, 5 National Enquirer who, during their last sexual encounter, knocked her down and sexually assaulted her. She allegedly is the mother of Autumn Jackson, his daughter, who is not his biological child. Autumn had threatened to publish the charges in the Globe newspaper, so extracting money in 1997. The assertions made by Andrea Green and Furrer, who all related the same narrative, written about in great detail in an article by Robert Huber, published in Philadelphia Magazine on June 9, 1996. We're being put to sleep in rape. Robert claimed his lawyers had pushed the matter to the back burner, where it was merely simmering after learning the severe charges against him. He said it might not mean anything, but it might also boil over and kill him. The piece is titled Dr. Huxtable and Mr. Hyde, was a pun leveraging the Jekyll and Dr. Hyde's personality issue and Bill's performance as Dr. Cliff Huxtable on the Cosby Show. This article also discussed Barbara Bowman, who vowed herself she would not remain silent going forward after reading Andrea's account. In its November 1, 2006 edition, the magazine covered Barbara's similar allegations of using illegal drugs and attacking her lover in bed. 2 things happened, Bowman claims, was in early 1986's years. At 18, she was working as a model and actress trying to make ends meet. After her agent connected them, he started to be her friend and mentor. She claimed she fled his attacks and returned to Denver, but she couldn't avoid the damage he would cause to her employment for not following him. If these assertions were indicators of what was to come, what happened when things truly started to spiral? On October 16, 2014, something unanticipated happened based on the words of Hannibal Buress. Something happened that attracted people's attention to Bill Cosby's allegations more than to other cases. Bill was well known for criticizing the dress choices and way of life of young black men. This was mentioned by Hannibal Buress in his Philadelphia stand-up comedy performance. To subvert nature, Hannibal joked he sexually assaults women, attacking the actor's public moralizing. Having said that, he was not exactly the kind to criticize others. He advised the throng to Google Bill Cosby intimate assault when they got home, since they seemed to find what he said humorous. And once the show debuted on the Philadelphia website in October, word swiftly got out about it. Book. For 6 months, he had been following the same daily pattern without much success. Many newspapers covered in-depth tales on how the media grew fixated on the issue of how Bill maintained his Teflon image in the face of almost a decade of public abuse of the flesh claims. He answered fast on Twitter from his page when people started showing more curiosity, urging others to forward. The tweet was deleted shortly later due to numerous memes referencing the allegations against Cosby. After that, Wendy Williams recalled discussing the personal attack claims against him that were in the tabloid National Enquirer in 1996 on a radio show in 2014, once the claims surfaced once more. She said he told her boss to fire her during the show's running. No fresh assertions of attack 11 women, including model Janice Dickinson, actress Louisa Moritz, Florida nurse Therese Saranese, Playboy playmates Valentino and Sarita Butterfield, actress Michelle Hurd, and others, had accused Cosby of assaulting them between 1965 and 1994 after journalist Joan Tarshis brought point-out remarks. Following her friend's breakup, Charlotte Laws penned a piece for Salon in November 2014, alleging Bill Cosby had mistreated her. He had mistreated her. Model Beverly Johnson said in a piece for Vanity Fair the following month that she and other women she knew had told police Cosby had doped them during an interview in 1986. The phrase in a statement given by his attorney, it said in part, "Mr. Cosby does not intend to dignify these allegations with any comment." The statement also said that Janice's testimony differed from how she had earlier related the encounter. Later on, the assertions were labeled as untrue and a typical example of media aggravating situations. Since Constance's case occurred years ago, the remark made a few days ago had nothing to do with her situation. To be clear, Bill and Andrea, who had received money in 2006, had issued a joint statement. Bill Cosby reportedly was according to Cinderlad. In January 1995, in the year 1996, she was sexually abused and made to go asleep. Police in Atlantic City, New Jersey, asked Lily Bernard about the allegations of a sexual attack against him in the early 1990s at some point in May 2015. Media sources claimed it was unclear whether what Lily mentioned occurred in New Jersey. She envisaged that New Jersey lacks a statute of limits for coital attack. Thus, the individual would be charged. The cover of New York Magazine from July 27, 2015, showed 35 women seated in chairs with one empty chair, implying that there were more victims, either absent or unable to be located. 350 women shared their experiences with Bill Cosby's mistreatment in the society that turned away hearing. 11 more women who knew New York and claimed he had hit them declined to be photographed or interviewed for the narrative. According to Voices of America, the stories go back more than 50 years and are rather similar. Usually, the comic presents a woman with a cup of coffee or an alcoholic drink possibly spiked with illegal narcotics and allegedly sexually attacking the victim while she is either unconscious or high. Take care, today. 13 women claiming to have been victims of Cosby's were interviewed for the 2015 A&E documentary Cosby. The Women Speak, September 17, 2015, saw the airing of the show. Almost 60 women had claimed that Cosby had sexually assaulted them up until October 24. They dubbed him a serial rapist and a psycho most of the time. Jewel Allison, in fact, particularly mentioned possibly the worst serial killer in American history. He escaped for the longest period. He was posing Cliff Huxtable, thus he got away with it even more. Given his name is among the most well-known worldwide and numerous crimes have been connected to him, how did he stay quiet for so long? The startling degree of Hollywood's participation. Some claim that although some believe Hollywood is a safe haven for lefties, the reality is it is merely profit-driven and not progressive. Hollywood has one bottom line only. Though the most strong man in the town is a known abuser, he is safe as long as he is earning money for other people. Imagine more than 30 women over at least 40 years screaming out in public to have been closely targeted by one man, and every narrative followed a distinct pattern. Still, nothing ever was really done. For what reason? People are so devoted to Bill Cosby's image. Thus, first one thinks of probably questioning the women's accounts. Who are they? And why did they do this? And why did they wait so long to come forward? The rationale was clear-cut. In TV, the good guys always prevail while the evil guys always lose. Movie and TV show buffs always support the decent guys since we can relate to their hardships and respect their bravery. To American viewers, he was the ideal illustration of the ideal TV hero. Many people have no father figure in their life. Together, commercial images and Dr. Huxtable created the father they always dreamed of. Thus, it makes logical that his supporters would try to defend him by questioning the persons accusing him. You hardly ever come across monsters that deviate from their appearances. He sought assistance from a fascinating, bad man. Whole company founded on his terrible sexual transgressions. Bill Cosby would be more ease in a Shakespeare drama than in a 30-minute situational comedy if he were real. If there are more than 30 victims, a company is said to be criminal. His protected status as a worker resembles that of a mob member. Thus, the same way that the claims would always be there even though he stopped being a bankable individual. Once more than a dozen women came forward, a lot of his future plans vanished. Wayne Town, former NBC employee and friend Frank Scotti told the Daily News he paid women in the 1980s to complete tasks for the comic. Frank was at least one among those who knew what was happening, but did nothing. He was not the only one. Nothing, and in the worst case, handed young girls to the family-friendly fraud. The next section became even more unsettling once the TV viewers overcame their initial shock and discovered he had raped many women. It implies realizing that some of the people in a reputable and loved company supported, assisted, and benefited from him. A few models suffered when they could have made more money. Thus, it appears that nobody considered stopping it. These women were physically attacked, then targets in an attempt to silence other survivors of intimate assaults. Not the legal system, but the Hollywood machinery maintained the train running. Whether he is charged or not, though, a business unconcerned about young women will always view them as tools for celebrity building. These were very serious charges, thus Bill had to keep quiet. Ask an old friend to assist. Papers obtained from credible sources claim that Bill Cosby expressed his opinions on his approaches of seducing women. To keep his wife ignorant of the affair, he paid his talent agency back off for the $5,000 it gave to his woman. This resulted from Andrea Constance suing him, claiming he had injured her, sexually assaulted her in slumber. He insisted they had agreed upon what was happening and refuted what she had said. Wanting to help someone, he told his wife he was going to pay Andrea's expenses with a personal check instead of money from his foundation. According to his remarks, his wife would not know it since they had sex, and she was agitated and decided she should head to school. According to reports, he delved deeply on how his agent paid Therese Sereni's money. Rather of confiding in his wife about his secret, he claimed he returned the $5,000 the agency had given her. Under oath, he said he had obtained quaalus for enjoyment. Enjoyment. He even believed his doctor knew he was not using the pills to relieve back discomfort. Regarding the claimed acts of intimate assault, he was invited to defend himself by more than 20 ladies have come forward claiming they were victims. Additionally, asking President Obama at the time to remove his Presidential Medal of Freedom was this group promoting awareness, victim empowerment. The president said there were no rules in place to address it since it had never been done before. The group said in a media statement, "The only reason Mr. long-term effects of his actions on his victims, when Andrea Constance first reported Bill Cosby for sexual misconduct in 2005, people were generally too lenient towards men abusing their power, fame, and influence." Cosby settled since putting all those women on the stand and his family not knowing would have been embarrassing at the time. He was a member of the school's executive board while she was the head coach of the women's basketball team at Temple University of Philadelphia, where she attended classes. After a year, they became friends. In 1995, she said that she was not long into Andrea's own fight. There were many accusations made against Harvey Weinstein, a former Hollywood producer found guilty of rape. But the survivors' points of view haven't been heard enough, even though they are aware of the power systems that let many abusers get away with it. The #Me Too movement began in 2017. The film follows 5 survivors as they work with a renowned Canadian physician, Gabor Mate, to deal with their trauma and bust preconceptions about how survivors of sexual assault can heal. It does not discuss the man's past as a beloved performer who is kindly known as America's Dad. Also, it does not matter how many times that story has been told. It was just the mask he put on. Andrea kept speaking out, even if his friends, defense lawyers, and the media all tried to damage his reputation. Even if a lot of progress has been made in having these talks and providing victims with the tools they need to speak out, Hollywood still cares about what its favorite stars do. Getting back up has been a big part of their rebuilding process. Windra and Stacey have had a harder time with the process because of his supporters. CNN got the word out about a program called See It Loud, the history of Black television, and Stacey is happy to overlook his bad behavior as we have seen over and over again. People who claim famous men are rarely treated with kindness. She says this is the real success story, even if Bill's conviction was revoked after only 2 years in jail. Because of #Me Too, people are taking more responsibility now. She said that systems have been hurting people for a very long time, but now people are starting to see the truth and the laws are changing. They want other survivors to speak out too, no matter how difficult it may seem. They say that the combined effect of survivors speaking out may bring about actual change. Constance says that the most crucial thing is for someone to be strong enough to, though Bill Cosby's Hollywood star on Sunset Boulevard seems to be the only thing left of his once glorious past, the judicial system sees him as a violent offender who has been convicted of crime. Still, hundreds of women have come forward to say that the actor and comic made them unconscious, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce runs the renowned Walk of Fame, which features the names of eminent individuals from the past and present. Once the stars are installed, they will become a permanent part of the Walk of Fame, so transforming it into a significant historic site that will remain in place always. Though it's unfortunate when their personal lives fall short of public expectations, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce will not remove stars from the Walk of Fame. A CNN station called Cosby reported that a letter requesting the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce to remove Cosby's star had stacked. The only things the stars honor are the recipient's work accomplishments.